What's going on today, guys? MMA Messiah here, and today we're going to be talking about uh, a hot take that I have, which is that I believe Israel Adesanya is lower or Sean Strickland is higher than Israel Adesanya all time. And we're going to get into exactly where he places all time, in my opinion, coming off this win from Hamzat and Hernandez, which is a crazy win. But we're going to be getting into it and why exactly I believe this, and yeah. So, firstly, I know a lot of people are going to be, you're saying I'm just an Izzy hater or whatever, but that's really not the case. I'm an Israel Adesanya fan. I was rooting for him. I hated Alex Pereira because of Izzy at first, but now I love Alex Pereira. And I still like Izzy, but it's just hard to, it's just, you have to call it into question at this point. Because of the level of competition that Sean has faced, and exactly the logistics of these matchups and everything like that. So, Izzy comes onto the scene and beats Rob Wilkinson, beats Marvin Vettori, beats Brad Tavares, Derek Brunson, Anderson Silva, washed Anderson Silva. Has a crazy fight of over Kelvin at Gastelum. Now we're going to go ahead and compare. In the early career, Israel Adesanya, I believe, has an advantage because he just fought more. He fought more frequently. He was crazy active. And he, got this guy, Robert McDaniel, Luke Barnett. Luke Barnett's actually a good win. He has this questionable loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio, but he's shown levels since then. Igor Argario, who the fuck is that? Alex Garcia, Tom Breese, and now he has lost to Kamaru Usman. Can't really hate that. When I go over Court McGee and a loss to Lesky dos Santos, and then he has a lot of questionable wins and losses in his early career, but whenever you go into his later career compared to Izzy's later career and the skill of competition that they have fought, you'll notice that Izzy starts to fall off and Sean Strickland starts to pour on. I think I think I think Sean Strickland would beat Joe Pfeiffer. Izzy just got KO'd in the second round by Nasruddin Imavov. Izzy is not old, by the way. A lot of people are probably going to be saying that like Izzy's old, but he's not old for middleweight. If we look up, how old he is, I think he's 37. I think he's 38, maybe 38. He's 36. Holy shit, he's young, dude. You see, I even overguessed his age because I thought he was older than he was. But we'll get back to this. So you have to remember, he's 36 years old. I don't think Anderson Silva lost his title until he was 38, and it was from getting fluked by God, dude, what's his name? He just retired. Who'd Silva lose to, dude? Why am I getting this mixed up? No, 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 no. I can't. I'm looking up the name. Who did Anderson Silva lose to first? Anderson Silva's initial loss was. Damn it, man. This sucks. I'm probably Chris Weidman, dude. I freaking forgot Weidman's name. That was stupid by my part. Um, Dude, how did I forget Chris Weidman's name? I'm in the middle of a YouTube video and I'm pretending to be hardcore. I fucking forgot Chris Weidman's name. Anyway, so yeah, Izzy has a loss to Nasruddin Imavov here. And that's also a good point. People are going to be saying that he is washed and he is old, but he's 36 years old. Honest, Anderson Silva didn't lose to Chris Weidman until he was 38, and it was from dominating and just getting too reckless, which is quite unfortunate because I think Izzy could have been way better had he just stayed disciplined. But it really just seems like my theory is that Israel Adesanya genuinely just poured all of his spiritual pressure into this fucking into this combination here to knock out Alex Pereira. and he gave it all to Alex Pereira. It's like Alex Pereira became exponentially more powerful from Izzy draining all of his spiritual pressure into Alex Pereira whenever he knocked him the fuck out. Which that was a crazy fucking knockout. Crazy, crazy knockout. He he literally did what Ichigo did at the end of Bleach and just gave up all the spiritual pressure. Next up, Izzy loses the Drickus, which Sean lost to Drickus too, but he had way closer fights with Drickus. I thought Sean won the first fight. I think this was kind of a robbery, but I could understand it going either way. I wasn't also in the most sober-minded state whenever I watched this fight. I remembered, so yeah. But no, DDP. These DDP fights were interesting because he got dominated in this fight, but he still didn't get finished, and he got. I thought Sean won this fight, and whenever Izzy fights him, he gets finished. That should. And Izzy looked good on that fight. I just think that Izzy's game got exposed, and he didn't adapt, and that should speak on to. That's not him being washed. That should speak on to him as a mixed martial artist, because I think he could have been way better had he pieced up some runs together. But he, Sean Strickland in retrospect is not that bad of a loss. Speaking of which, by the way, which is Israel's next win. So Sean Strickland comes out there and dominates Izzy 50-45s him, which is a huge reason why I think Sean Strickland is better than Israel. Because Israel was coming off the best win of his career. The best win of his entire career. Which was the Alex Pereira win. And he was beating Alex in the first fight, and then Alex knocked him out in the fifth. It is what it is, but I rate Izzy for that. I do. I think that's great. But Sean beat that Izzy. Like Izzy had those two fights back to back and looked fantastic, phenomenal. And then he just got staunched by Strickland. And then DDP comes along. What an anomaly DDP is. So people are also going to say Jared Cannonier. Oh, Izzy beat Jared Cannonier and Sean Strickland lost to him. But that was a robbery. I'm going to say that right now. That was a robbery. That was such a robbery, dude. Sean Strickland had that 4-1 clear as day, in my opinion. I even rewatched the fights. I thought Sean Strickland had that clear as day. Izzy's best win was Izzy. Speaking of robberies, I just want to say I think Izzy lost this second fight against Whitaker, but I won't poke that many holes. His first Robert Whitaker win was the best. Sean Strickland never got the chance to fight Whitaker, but I do believe if he was putting Hernandez away with body shots, I believe he could probably put Whitaker away, and I think he would put Whitaker away. It would have been an interesting fight. It would have been an interesting fight. That's a fight I wish we saw was Strickland versus Whitaker. Next, Marvin Vettori. I think Sean Strickland didn't Sean Strickland fight Marvin Vettori? No, he didn't. Okay, it is what it is. You see, Izzy just fought so much, dude, but he just fought against Cans and lost to Jan Blachowicz. And I think if Strickland moved up to 205, I think he beats Blachowicz, even in this state. He just beat Hamzat, which is Strickland's best win, which is another thing that I want to talk about. I'll talk about that one in a second. But Costa, who is Strickland also beat. It's just that Izzy beat a better version of Costa, it seems. But Costa's looked good. This win has aged well for for Strickland, because this Costa, the current Costa at 205 looks phenomenal compared to the Costa that fought Izzy. Yoel Romero, boring ass fight. I don't even know how to rate this one because it was just not even a fight. And then the Robert Whitaker win was insane. Kelvin Gastelum win was a good one, but in retrospect, Kelvin Gastelum really wasn't that good a level of competition, seeing as what he did after that fight. Washed Izzy again, yeah, dude. And then you just compare the bars, dude. Like, he won this fight against DDP. I just want to say that. I think he beat DDP in this first fight. He beats Paulo Costa. He beats Anthony Hernandez, who I think beats Izzy right now. Hamzat. What do you think Hamzat does to Izzy, bro? Izzy, at any point in Izzy's career, At any point in Izzy's career, Hamzat would have staunched him on the ground. First round would have had more power than him, probably too. Like it would have been a weird exchange of power. And then Sean Strickland has a win over Izzy, which counts for something because Izzy was coming off the two best wins of his career. Abus Magmedov, good win. Nazardine Amavov on short notice, who Izzy lost to later. Beat Jared Cannonier, I don't care what this says. Loses to Alex Pereira, which Izzy, who also lost to. And then it took him 3 fights to find it and finally gets the win over Alex Pereira. I think if Sean Strickland doesn't go out there like an idiot and try to strike with him, he could have a serious chance to win that fight. I do. Because Strickland is good. Jack Manson, good win. Uriah Hall, good win. And then he goes down from there and he kind of falls off because he moved up to 185 later. He started at 170. But it's also it's just how can I rate, because I don't think Sean Strickland is that much older than Izzy either. I think the game changed, Strickland adapted, and Izzy didn't because Strickland has been in the dude. Strickland's a year younger. Strickland is a year younger than Izzy. How are you going to say that Izzy is washed at 36 and Sean Strickland isn't out? Isn't Izzy got figured the fuck out, and Sean Strickland hasn't, and he's better all time for it. And I think that's perfectly reasonable to say. Anyway, I'm interested to know what you guys think. Leave a like and sub in the comments. Subscribe to the channel for real. It helps me out a lot. MMA Messiah out. Have a good day.